Yo guys, welcome back to another episode of our FIFA 18 career mode with Burton Albion. Starting today's episode off with the final game of the season. We'll be ending the season in this game, sort of like a special episode in a way. Just go through what's happened in the season and stuff. Basically play this game, I'll show you this league table and a few stats and stuff like that at the end of it. Just to sort of round up what season we've had and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you don't, then pretty much half the episode is going to be the game, and then the other half will be like random stuff. So if you don't want to watch that, then you can just click off, I suppose, if you don't want to watch that after this game's finished. But hopefully you guys do want to see all the stats and everything that's happened. As you see, straight from kickoff, we come forward on the ball, we take a shot, and it was a very, very poor shot there. Bearing in mind this game, it doesn't matter what happened in this game, we'd stayed in second no matter what, so it was basically a dead game to us. And I think Preston were actually fighting to stay in third. If they lost, they went down to fourth. So we were basically just playing to try and prove our worth. As you see, we come forward and Sordell puts us in the lead in this game to make it 1-0. And he has been such a good player this season. I'm glad that I've finished the season with him starting this game, because he's been such a crucial player to our season. Before this, I checked, and Darren Bent, Akins, Varner, and I think it's those three strikers are all leaving at the end of the season, which two of them have left because of pre-contract signings, and Bent was only on as a loan signing, which I didn't actually realise, and well, I did at the beginning and then completely forgot about it until I checked. But we do take the lead, and again with another shot from Sordell. It was a very nice shot, but unluckily there, that one just goes over the bar. Is at the minute he's on his 9th goal, and if we can score one more with him, we actually get him into double figures as well, which will make it Bent, Akins, Hopper and Sordell. So those 4 strikers all in double figures for this season. But just before that, they came forward and taken a very, very poor goal to concede there to finish the season. We wanted to finish the season on a high after the last 2 games where we did very badly. And it looked like being another one of them games at this point, as I poorly gave the ball away. As I basically just set him up, gave him the ball and said, here, have it, take a shot. And Harrop doesn't make a mistake there and puts the ball beyond Blackman and makes sure that the score is now 1 apiece, which just isn't good enough, to be honest. We should have done a hell of a lot better there. Shouldn't have given the ball up as easily as we did, but we did, and it means that it is now level pegging. But just after that, we come forward on another attack, and Sordell gets played through, and he does score the goal. He scores his 10th goal of the league season in this match, which honestly I couldn't be more happy to score. I would have preferred it if it was him scoring 10 goals than any of the other strikers, because he's such a good player. He's been such a crucial part of our season with his goal scoring, coming off the bench and everything like that. He's been such a good player, and I'm so happy that he's got his 10th goal of the league season. He was already in double figures technically for all competitions, which I believe all of them apart from Varner have got double figures throughout the season. Apart from Varner, like I say, that's in all competitions. But now I was just trying to get a Sordell to get his 10th, and I did exactly that. But moments later, we come forward, Boyce turns back, he takes a shot, and it goes just wide, which Boyce as well was very close to. I remember that Boyce was very close to getting his double figures, but I don't know how close. At this point, I didn't realise how close he was. And I was trying to get him a goal to see how many goals I'd actually need to get him to that double figures for the season. But anyway, before we get into that, we take a shot there and it gets deflected. Ben Turner getting his body in the way of the shot and keeping us 2-1 up. But just on the stroke of half time, They come forward on an attack. They play the ball out wide. It's a nice volley, but he shouldn't have really took the shot there. It wasn't a particular place that you should have took that volley from. He should have at least took his time with that, but he didn't bother. He took it and decided to be greedy, and it goes wide of the post. But coming into the second half, they come forward on another attack here, looking quite dangerous, turning the man and getting himself into a bit of space. He does well there to beat the midfielder as they play it out wide. They get the ball out wide. They whip the ball in, and somehow we don't clear the ball. And honestly, it was terrible again. Just another way to poor, just sloppy play at the back. And Horan puts the ball in the back of the net to make it 2 apiece now. And honestly, both goals shouldn't have been goals. We just gave the ball away so sloppily both times, and Preston capitalise on that and make sure that the score is back level at this point, which it really shouldn't have been. We should have had this game home and dry at this point, and we should have won it no matter what. But Hogan, you see, he does put the ball in the back of the net and makes it 2 apiece. But shortly after, we come forward again with Will Miller. Gives it to Joe Sabara, who cuts some space into the defence. He gives it off to Boyce, and Liam Boyce, with an absolutely fantastic finish there, puts the ball in the back of the net to make it 3-2, and basically just put us back in front at this point. It was a very nice finish, as you've seen. He got the ball on the edge of the area, and I thought there's nothing else that I could do with it at this point, because as you see, the defenders were all in front of me, so I just decided to take the shot, and it was a finesse shot straight into the near post. The keeper definitely should have done better there. He shouldn't be getting defeated by that kind of shot into his near post, but it does go in, and it does mean that we score the goal with Boyce. And as you see here, he makes it into his double figures as well. It is his 10th goal of the season, and that is the end of the game. 2 players in this game got themselves to the double figures margin for the league. And honestly, that makes 5 of our 6 strikers got into double figures in the league season. Goal tally of double figures in this league season, which is unbelievable. And honestly, I don't understand how my team's done so well. I was thoroughly, the beginning of this career, I thought I was going to be struggling like hell. But the strikers have done unbelievably. And honestly, it's been such a fun career mode to play, for the fact of it is being such a, it's a really low rated team for what we have. But the fact of we've actually got so many strikers that have done so well this season, and even the midfielders. As you see here, I show the goal tally of the top goal scorers. As you see, Bent was our top goal scorer in the league and full overall competitions. Then it was Akins, then Hopper, then Boyce, Sordell and Miller. And like I said, but there was so many players there. As you see, Murphy was close, Samuelson was close, Miller was close. There were so many players there that were close to getting double figures. And honestly, if I would have loved it if I could have got them to double figures, but sadly I couldn't. But for the fact that 5 of our players this season got double figure tallies in goal scoring is just unbelievable. And Marvin Sordell, like I say, you can see all his goals and everything there, and you can go back to maybe pause it if you need to see some of the other players' stats of where they've scored their goals. I believe it goes actually you can see us later on when I show the top goal scorers for the league altogether, not just our team and stuff like that. But you see, like, so many players. Miller was such a good player for our team. Samuelson was such a crucial player to our season. Murphy was such a crucial player. Sabara, when he started playing, was unbelievable. And Luke Varney as well. Fair enough, he didn't score as many goals. But the fact is that he scored at least one goal in every game that he played. I didn't play him that much because he was older and stuff like that, and the other players were playing so well as well. I didn't feel like having to play him, even though he was banging in goals every time he came on the pitch and was starting the games and everything. I still didn't feel like the urge I needed to play him, and the fact is of how well the players were playing all season was just unbelievable. As you see, then I go over to the assists and show you how many assists each player's got, which Lucas Akins actually got the most assists in our team. Then it was Darren Bent. Will Miller got quite a few as well, got into his double figures for assists. Boyce was next, which is quite surprising really, because Boyce didn't play as many games, and Hopper, fair enough, he was second goal scorer. But when you compare it to Akins and the fact that, fair enough, Akins played pretty much double the amount of games that Hopper did, I think Hopper should have definitely done better with his goal scoring and stuff like that, of his assists more than anything, because his goal scoring was brilliant, but his assist wasn't so good. But I go on to show you now the attributes of how each player's risen and how each player's grown, of how many stats, how many overalls they've grown and stuff like that. As you see, Cotterill got the most, and then so many players got boosted so much this season, and there was a couple of players that went down, as in Varner, Warnock, who wasn't even at the side. Also, Darren Bent went down a couple, but he ain't going to be here next season. Buxton also went down. But on it, Sean Barker, who also isn't going to be here next season, it's such a good way to end the season, to be honest, of how well we've played this season. And like I said, I wasn't expecting to do this well at all. And the fact that I did is I show you the league table here. As you see, we was only actually 5 points difference between us and Wolves in the end, when there was 8 points before the end of the last game, which is quite good, to be honest. I would have expected, the thing that I regret is the fact that with the league table, that is I should have done better for the fact of how many points I was in front. I was like 12 points in front at one point, and then I dropped them all, and we ended up losing the season by 5, which is quite annoying. As I show you a couple of the cups, the FA Cup didn't actually get played at the point where I took this, none of the playoffs, but Man City won the Cabral Cup, which is quite good as well. We had a couple of good cup runs. Well, the Cabral Cup, we got knocked out in the first round because at that point of the season I wasn't bothered. But we had a good run in the FA Cup. We got a very good cup run in that. Got to the quarterfinals. Unluckily got knocked out, but it was a very good game. We put up a good fight against Man U, which I can't ask for more really. As you've seen a couple, we got in fact 8 players in the top assists in the top 15 sides. We got 8 of them with our players, which just shows how well the team did. And we got also 3 players out of the 5 that got double figures. 3 of them finished inside the top 10 of the top goal scorers this season, which is just unbelievable. Jota for Wolves did unreal and got 26 goals somehow, even though our top goal scorer. But the thing is, I think they had a player with them, which was just like, they had that Jota as their main goal scorer, whereas you've seen here, if we had 3 players that was on, I believe, 17 goals, 15 goals, and 13 goals, I believe, and that just shows how well we did. With the fact, if all of them went to one player, we would have blasted it out of the water with top goal scorer. But I'm more glad that I've got 3 players in there, even though 2 of them won't be here next season, which is a sad thing, as we show the Premier League table here and how close it is going into the last game of the Premier League season. Both Liverpool are now out of the title running. Unluckily, well, they ain't, but they'll have to win the game by like 10 plus goals or something, which just isn't possible. So it's between Chelsea and Man City, and they are on the same goal difference, so it'll come down to goals scored. As you see here, at this point that Bournemouth and Huddersfield have gone down, but Burnley can still actually get out of their place, and they could trade places here with Brighton if they win and Brighton lose. They could actually trade places, which would be also a very crucial end to the season for them. But we have a couple of training sessions here. And what I do want to say is, if you have any suggestions as you see the Championship playoffs, but after the first leg, Birmingham are in front, and Preston are also in front, with them being 2-1 up, and Birmingham being 2-0 up against their opponents. What I do want to say is, for the new season, if there's any players you want to see me sign, then please let me know in the comments, and just comment them down below, like I say. And then coming into the second round of the playoffs, but Birmingham blasted Bristol out of the water, winning that one 4-1, and then a massive turnaround from Fulham to get themselves into the playoff final by beating who was it that they played? I didn't see who they played there, but they beat their team, Preston. Sorry, they beat that Preston by 2 goals to get themselves into the final. And as you've seen there, they do actually win the playoff final, and that is the team I wanted to go up. I wanted it to be me. Wolves and Fulham, and I wasn't bothered. I wanted Birmingham to get into it. If it wasn't able to do that, and it could have been Birmingham, I would have liked them to come up. But that is the end of today's episode, guys, and the end of the season. So if you like this season and you like this episode, then please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and peace.